Hello, my name is Miranda Hagerman, and this week for English children's lit class we had to pick a children's poem to read, and I chose The Night Before Christmas by Clement. One of the reasons I chose this particular poem, I had it in my head as soon as I heard that we were doing poems, because I absolutely love Christmas, and I always have, especially as a child, and I know that this poem is one of the most well-known Christmas poems, and I heard it all throughout my childhood, and I still love to read it around Christmas time. It just kind of gives you this feeling of such joy and happiness, and it's almost like nostalgic because it has all of the feelings of Christmas and what Christmas is supposed to be like, and how amazing and magical and super exciting the season is, and especially Christmas night when you're waiting, you're a child, you're in bed and you're waiting for Santa to come and bring you all your presents. And so that's the reason why I chose this poem, and I'll go ahead and read it. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas would soon be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap, when out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave a lustre of midday to objects below. When what to my wondering eyes did appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment he must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with the sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed in all fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, and turned with a jerk, and laid his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like a down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night." So as you can tell, as I was reading that poem, I was super, it just makes you feel happy and joyous, and Christmas time is supposed to be just like that, it's super happy and it's exciting, and especially as a child. Now, the reason also I was really excited to see that this was an example in the book, because at first I wasn't sure if it would be considered a child's poem, because it has a few, bigger words. But I did realize when I was looking it up that it has a grade level of 4. So most older children, grade 4 or 5 and up and stuff like that, should have no problem reading this on their own. The interest level, however, is pre-K through 4th grade. It's geared toward more younger children, and the Lexile reading level is 940L. It had a lot of rhyme and rhythm, and almost when you're reading the poem, it's like sing-song like, and I think that it aids with the theme of the poem, the magical Christmas kind of tone to it. The children, like I said, they can understand the poem, and most children would probably be able to read this without an adult, but they would be like 4th grade or so. The poem, it does contain subjects. The subject matter, of course, is Christmas, and most children are super duper familiar with it and can relate to it. And like I've said, it does evoke like feeling of excitement and happiness and joyous cheer, Christmas cheer. The language of this poem creates such great imagery. It almost, you can, while you're reading the poem or listening to the poem, you can imagine all of these things happening with such descriptive words that the author uses, like his cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry, talking about his white beard like being like the snow. And children can actually, if I were a teacher, I would use this poem basically probably every year, maybe multiple times a year, when teaching poetry, especially because children, it's very simple. It uses couplet rhyming, like the ending of the first two, it's AABB. The ending of the first two rhyme, and the ending of the second two lines rhyme as well, and it keeps going that way. And that's really easy to replicate, and children could definitely use that in their poems. If I were a teacher, I would probably assign the children to maybe write a Christmas poem and try to mimic or replicate the form while they are writing their own poems. So like I said, I think this is an amazing, amazing poem, and it just makes you happy when you read it. So, but I really am looking forward to hearing all the poems from my classmates tomorrow. And poetry is something that a lot of people either love or hate, but it's one of the things I really, really enjoy about literature. So I'm really excited. Thank you.